Hi everyone. So I've been using this Note 2 for over a week and I've been using this as my secondary phone, and there were times when I was using this more than my iPhone 12. I mean, at times I was taking this phone out and leaving my iPhone at home. Not because this phone is better than iPhone, it's just I did not feel the difference in experience. If you want my short answer, leaving the security and privacy aside, I like this phone and it has been a joy to use this. That being said, it's not a perfect phone and there are some issues with it which I'm going to talk about very soon. But if I just talk about the design, looks, feel, battery, charging, display, and even camera, I'm satisfied with it. I'll start with design. It feels premium. I've been using it without any case or screen guard and yet to see any scratches. The frame is plastic, but unless you're purposefully bending this phone, it's a good build. The phone is slightly slippery, but because of that plastic frame, it does give it some grip. And I have a grey Sierra color in matte finish, so there are no fingerprints. On the front, it's a punch hole design and a very uneven chin, but it does not bother me at all. The alert slider is useful and it's just a good phone and the good build for the price. This time I'm actually surprised with the OnePlus display. I'm not sure about anyone else and I actually did not see anyone else's review yet, but I did not face any green tint, grey uniformity or black crush. The display quality is great, so watching YouTube and Netflix was a joy. I do miss HDR on Netflix as the device does not support HDR on Netflix, and on Prime Video the quality is really bad. And if you're planning to buy this device just because of binge watching, I would say don't, because if you're planning to buy this device and going to wait for the update to fix all of those issues, that update might never come. And if you're someone like me who just watches YouTube on their phone, I think you can go with this. It has been a good experience. I've been watching YouTube all along. The sound on the other hand is not very good. Yes, it is a dual speaker, but it's a little bit flat. It does go loud, but I think the experience has not been really good. So if you try the speaker of Pixel 4a or even Samsung A52, they are more fuller as compared to this phone. So yeah, it gets louder, but yeah, it's a little bit flat. You can feel some bass in it, but when it gets louder, it's like tinny or just sharp in your ear. Now let's talk about the power. See, I'm not going to do the benchmarks test because I think in real world they do not matter. So sometimes a phone sees a benchmarking gap and increases its power, but when in the real world they do not able to handle the throttling very well, I think the numbers are useless. So I'm just going to talk about the experience I had with this phone, and it has been surprisingly great. So I was not expecting this performance from this phone because I just came from the Note CE and the performance on that phone was not really good. I've seen a lot of comments that people are complaining about the performance of this phone, that they are facing the app crashes, YouTube is not working, or there are heating issues. But for me, it hasn't been the case. But I did notice a minor bug. So actually I imported my settings from Note CE to this phone and I turned on the blue light filter overnight, like from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. But I was not able to turn it off, so I had to restart my phone. So I think that was the only bug I found on the initial day, but after that there was nothing. So I cannot say it's a bug-free phone. There was technically one bug, but other than that the experience was really good. And if I talk about the 90Hz refresh rate, it has been really fine for me. I actually did not even lower the transition like I usually do on Android phone because I'm coming from iPhone and I'm really okay with that slow but smooth transitions. The touch response is 180Hz and it has been really good for me. I really do not care about more response than that because I'm not a gamer, but my experience or my requirement might not be same as yours. So if you're playing a lot of games, a phone with 120Hz refresh rate or touch sampling like 360Hz or 480Hz might be much better for you. But in day-to-day life, this was a very good experience. I'm a simple Call of Duty player who plays 1 or 2 sessions at max, so I enjoyed it. Graphics were good, although I could not play on the highest settings possible. I do not play anything other than Call of Duty, so if you want to see gaming experience, I think you should check someone else's channel. For me, Call of Duty was no frame drop experience. Let's talk about the cameras before talking about that software. So I have mixed feelings about these cameras, so I'm not going to talk about that monochrome sensor. In the main sensor at first, you'll see the images are really good, but when you zoom in and try to look in the pictures, you will feel they are a little bit artificial, but I will talk about that later. Let's talk about the videos first. So I wanted to show you the 4K recording. but this time I'm going to do inside. So this is the HDR performance, but let's take it to you in the house. So let me just show you Ren. So here he is. He was sleeping, but I bothered him. Hi Ren. This feels a little bit saturated for some reason, but yeah, this is the house. That's Kiko that is sleeping up there. Say hi. So yeah, it looks fine, and the stabilization also looks okay. So for the front camera, as long as you are in a good light, it's going to work fine. But the HDR performance of the front camera is not very good. It's okay, but as long as you are in good light, it's okay. But when you're going in a low light situation, you'll start seeing some noise. So if I go in a dark environment, there is a lot of noise, and that's one issue I faced with while I was doing video calling. So you have to take care of that as well. So I'm testing the ultra wide angle lens with the stabilization. A lot of you asked me whether it has stabilization in wide angle lens. I don't see it as such, but yeah. The HDR is also not very good, but this is the camera sample. So in videos I noticed some noise in the rear camera as well. Stabilization is good, but you will see those jitter while walking. And the front camera video is bad in low light, even for video callings. Let's talk about photos now, and I have some examples from Google Camera as well. I'm only going to talk about the 50 megapixel main camera and the 8 megapixel ultra wide. So in very good light condition, the ultra wide matches the main sensor, but as soon as the lights go down and just on a rainy day, the wide angle camera is very soft. It's so soft sometimes that I don't even feel like using it. There are practically no details, so I'd say if you want to use it before evening. Otherwise the main sensor performs well, and I've been using this camera a little bit more than usual. I also installed the Google Camera and I did not see any huge improvements. I think the native app performs well, but in some scenarios, the less sharpened images of Google Camera looks a little better, especially with the skin tones. Like in this picture, I feel like the native app has made my face artificial and doing a lot of over sharpening. In portrait, even though it's making the same image soft, it doesn't look natural. Although I really like that bokeh balls there. I noticed that in the previous picture as well, even the background separation is good. For the front camera, I find it more natural in daylight and in portrait as well. But in the low light situation, it does produce some noise. But I will definitely choose it over the night mode because it washes out the images. So I would say camera is good, and it actually performs better with Google Camera in so many scenarios. But in the app itself, the night time takes 4 to 5 seconds to take a good picture even in a very lit scenario. So I think OnePlus needs to work on that as well. Software is the part which impressed me a lot. Their new code base after merging with ColorOS has been performing well. It's well optimized for UI at least. And I'm glad there are no bloatware, and apart from the setup there were no force permission requests as well. But there are certain things that I do not like about this software. The one major incident that happened, that OnePlus Phone Note 2 got automatically updated. And I remember someone mentioning that they were on call when they got this update and phone restarted automatically. So that was really weird. And one more thing for those people who thinks privacy is a myth and they have nothing to hide. See, I don't really care what you do with your phone, what you do with your data. I don't even care if you telecast your life. But please do not tell me not to care about my privacy. I'm just here to give you information, and I'm never going to stop you from buying these phones, let alone for privacy and security. I'm just here to share my experience and what I think, and maybe it will help some people. And if I talk about that security, that's another issue with OnePlus phone. There's still no mention in any of their event. There is no security chip, so that is something I wanted to tell you as well. So those were my concern with the Oxycolor OS. The experience has been good. There's no denying that there were no lag. I didn't face any frame drop or there was no animation glitches, anything like that. But I also did not like that camera application interface as well. It's from Realme UI, and that unnecessary permission, I think that was not required. If I talk about the normal call quality, the cell reception has been good, the sound has been clear, so I think the basics are completely covered. I'm still not getting that 4G plus on my Airtel, but it's very weird because this phone does have carrier aggregation and a lot of people are getting 4G plus on their Airtel devices. So this phone also has Wi-Fi 6 and there was no issue with the Wi-Fi range, the speed was also good. And the Wi-Fi 6 also saves some battery, so I was losing approximately 1% overnight, so that was also good. And if I talk about the best part of this phone, was the haptic motor. The haptic experience on this phone is the best in this price segment. If I talk about the battery life has been really good for me. So I was getting approximately 6 hours of screen on time over the period of 2 days with 4G and Wi-Fi together, which has been really good. And if I just talk about the single day, I got 9 hours of screen on time on Wi-Fi itself. Although their battery UI is pathetic, no graph has been shown to even demonstrate and no previous data as well. So I forgot to take a screenshot. I cannot see you actual screen on time. But yes, the battery life has been really good, so I have no complaints there. And if that is not enough for you, the charging speed are really awesome. So you just need half an hour to top up this phone. I usually get from 20% to 100% in just half an hour. And that is actually spoiling me because sometimes I forgot to charge my iPhone overnight. So I have to spare more than 1 or 1.5 hours to fully charge that phone. So I'm actually going to miss that fast charging. Yes, those fast charging degrade the batteries, but as of now, I'm actually enjoying it. So in conclusion, it's a very good phone, and with that 2 years of software update and 3 years of security update, I think it should last you at least 3 years, and it is better than A52 and Pixel 4a in so many ways, but I will still recommend those devices over this phone because of the software and reliability. But if you do not care about that security and privacy issue like me, I think I can definitely recommend this device. I'm not going to use this as my personal phone, but I can definitely use it as a secondary device where I do not have any personal information. Because this time I actually enjoyed using this OnePlus device. The software was clean, there were no bloatwares, and I actually liked the camera processing as well. I'm not sure how long I'm going to use this phone, but as long as it is with me, and if you want to ask any sort of question, you can ask in the comment box or you can just follow me on Twitter. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. My name is Rohit. I'll see you in the next one. Till then.